Welcome back to Good Day Charlotte, folks. I'm live outside here, folks. So welcome back to Good Day Charlotte, live outside with the car chick. A lot of us are starting to get ready for vacations. We may be driving somewhere. We probably need to make sure that that car's in good working condition. First of all, thank you for joining us again.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Chuck.
Good to see you again. Talk a little bit about what we should get ready for before we take that big summer trip.
Absolutely, because there's nothing worse than spending your vacation broken down on the side of the road. And the number one cause of a breakdown on a road trip is the battery. So get your car into your dealership or your ASE certified shop and have them check everything over. Test that battery. If it's low, it won't hold a charge, go ahead and get a new one. And while you're in there, there's a bunch of other stuff that we want to check.
Now, one thing, most of the batteries are found in the front, but some of the batteries are now found in the back seat of the car and other places like that.
Right, yeah, mine's actually in the back underneath the trunk where normally you would find a spare tire, which clearly I don't have.
Good to know. Let's talk about some of the other things you got.
Absolutely, you want to have them check the oil, and especially if you're going on a longer road trip, maybe you're going to go across country and see some of the beautiful sights we have, go ahead and get that oil change now. That way you're not looking for a shop, out there in Montana or wherever to get that oil change if you're on a 1,000-mile road trip. Make sure all the fluids are fresh and topped off, especially the coolant. So if you get stuck in that stop-and-go beach traffic, you don't want the car to overheat.
On that line right there, I noticed the last couple of days we've been dealing with some 90-degree temperatures, even just sitting in traffic. I noticed that my temperature gauge goes up a little bit. That's something we need to be aware of with extreme hot temperatures.
Yeah, and that's perfectly normal. The car's not moving. There's no air flowing through the radiator. It's just going to get hotter. So that's why it's really important to make sure, even if you're not going on a road trip, just make sure the coolant, everything's working properly for the car's cooling system, just if you're driving to work in the morning.
Can you use water instead of coolant in the summertime?
You can in a pinch. It's better to use coolant. They usually use a 50-50 mix, so just be sure you've got all the right fluids in your car.
Great tips right there. So check the oil, we check the fluids. What are some other things to think about?
Well, on a road trip, you want to make sure you've got good wipers to make sure you've got all the bugs off of there, maybe the ocean spray, and it never hurts to keep a little extra windshield wiper fluid in the car. But the number 2 breakdown reason, tires.
And this is something, folks, that we have a tendency to overlook. As long as the tire's working, we're thinking, I'm safe.
Yeah, the tires are more than just the rubber donuts that hold up your car. Make sure you've got good tread left and have them check to make sure there's no damage, no cracks, no bulging in the tire, and make sure you've got proper air inflation. Not only will that reduce the risk of a blowout, but it'll also maximize your gas mileage on the trip.
As far as checking the tread, there used to be some tips like maybe using a coin to put inside the tread. Does that work?
It does. You can use a penny and put it Abe Lincoln's head side down. And if you can see his forehead, then it's time to get new tires. But check for your wear bars, too.
And check all 4 tires before you go, and make sure you've got a good spare as well ready to go. What about emergency equipment that we might need for the trip? Any thoughts on that?
Sure. I would always bring some extra water, both a jug to put in the car if you need to, like you said, if you run out of coolant, and also just water for you and your family. If you do get stranded on the side of the road and you need to wait for your roadside assistance, you don't want everybody else overheating and dehydrating as well.
Absolutely. Some great tips here, folks. If you're headed out, the main thing is plan accordingly. Know your routes, kind of know where you may not have a gas station, and gas prices can change. They can fluctuate from state to state, so it might be something else. Any last-minute tips you want to give us?
Do not wait until the last minute to get into the shop. Be sure you schedule your appointment a week to 2 weeks ahead of time. That way, if they do find any problems and need to make repairs, that gives them time to order the parts, get them in, and get those repairs done before you head out on the road.
Car chick, you know what you're talking about.
Thanks.
Always good to see you here. Thank you very much, folks. Just remember, when you head out, plan ahead and get that car ready. We're going to take a break from Good Day Charlotte. We'll be back after this good word.